Oh, yeah. Let me put the light on. I don't know if it did the effect I wanted to make. Friday Night Live. I'll have some creepy noises in the background. If it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn it off. So the last Friday before Halloween. So I have someone in the back room with me. I'm going to bring him up. And anytime tonight, I don't see many people here yet, but I will be repeating this. If you want to come up, show your costume, even if it's just for 5 minutes, as long as I know the name of the channel, and maybe you just show your face, or if I know your name, it's fine. Come up. I'll put your name down for a draw for a t-shirt later on.
Now it's scary.
Ah!
Oh.
So who's in the chat? I don't see any comment as of yet, other than the one Tracy wrote down.
Heidi ho, neighbor.
Hello, Marilan. If I put myself backwards like this, does it look like I'm part of the decor?
Yeah, you see the it's like the mask up in the corner behind you, and then the Viking, the two masks. And then when you sat for that was pretty terrifying when the lights came on.
Especially when I remove the mask, right?
Right. Oh.
I have a wig too if I wanted to. I forgot to put it on. Just a small blonde hair wig, because that way I'm bald, so it's not really scary.
Actually, Jason Voorhees was bald, I think. He might have had a few sprigs.
Yeah.
But Trevor was I told Trevor, I said, yeah, I can't find my camo makeup. And he's like, well, go as a Q-tip. Put on a white t-shirt, go as a Q-tip, because I got the white top of my hair. The problem is that's all thinning. So you see, don't tell anybody though. That's our secret, Remy.
All right.
But
let me see. Is the connection all right? Because I see Tracy kind of blurry. Is it on your end or on mine?
Everything looks good here. I hope I didn't get charcoal in my eye. I couldn't find my paint, so I used charcoal, a piece of charcoal out of the wood stove. Yeah. I hope I didn't get it in my eye.
Hello, Marilyn. Hello, Dave. Tracy's a blurry G.I. Joe. So
I am blurry. What in the world? Come on. Focus. Focus.
There's a little lag as well.
Really? I don't. Hold on. Let me shut down every.
You're frozen now.
I'm frozen?
Yeah. And there's like a reflection in your glasses. That's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, that's my laptop. I haven't figured out how to get rid of it yet because I got to look at my laptop. There, now you're all blurry too.
Awesome, but I don't see you moving.
You don't? I'm not moving? Really? I'm frozen? You know what, Remy?
You just came back, but you're still a little bit blurry.
Well, there. Now you're blurry too. No. I'll step out, restart my computer, and come back in. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll be back.
Looks like Tracy's giving the orders now. Yeah. I don't know how people can be in the army. Someone yelling in my face, I'd be quitting like after one day. Hello, Suzanne. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will put the link up there. Sorry. No. Let's see how I can Um, I have those little. I'm trying to hit the three dots to put that link pin to top. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. I can't hit the three dots because there's like the little heart. As soon as I put the mouse over, I have the little heart and all those little tiny symbols there, emojis, I guess. So the link is up. If anyone has a costume and wants to be in a little giveaway that I'm doing, just something to have fun. You just have to come in, 2 seconds, show the costume. As long as I know who you are, I'll put your name down in a draw for a t-shirt giveaway. And it will be a special t-shirt that I will design especially for the occasion. So, I'm guessing we're going to find out either this weekend or the following weekend the winning team for the Global Gardening and Homesteading Community Challenge, known as Shed Wars. It is it's been a great year at least for me it is. It's been a strange season, I have to admit. The weather was not cooperating too much. It's been raining nonstop, but even with all the rain, I was able to harvest a ton of food, and I was able to beat my record from last year. I know I'm not going to have the highest score out there because obviously some channels that don't have uh, to make the minimum requirement videos are going to beat me. I've heard the numbers of a few channels already, and from what I understand, they're kicking my ass. But I'm still happy. Just to let you know, I was able to harvest over $10,000 worth of food. Um, of course, this is not 100% profit because I harvested um, close to 200 pound of moose meat, which I consider to be around $3 a pound. But I had to pay $1.25 for that meat at the butcher. Um, I had to buy the chickens and their turkeys, even if they were just chicks that were not that expensive. I still ended up making a profit on them, according to my calculations. But this is not a profit. But it is $10,000 worth of food that we have in our freezers or in my pantry right now. So you're back and you're looking way better now.
Say that one more time.
You look better than you did.
Dude, nobody's ever been that nice to me and said stuff like that.
I didn't say you look good. I said you look better.
I'm easy to please, man.
Hello, Amanda. Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, I had a personal goal of reaching 2,000 pounds, and I have to say I did it. I will not give my final score now. I will wait until the winning team is revealed. But I will say that once again this year, I learned a lot. And in terms of, I'm going to say homestead, I was able to expand a lot. Last year was all about the garden, trying to get the garden ready, bigger, um, learn about canning, learn about preserving. This year, I felt good doing so. What's up?
The other day, Marilyn and I were talking, and because I wanted to get her permission, because I tried a new thing to get shorts made out of my live streams. And I said, well, you don't talk very much anyway, because in the shorts she wasn't talking. And she says, somebody told her, I didn't say you don't talk enough. I said, you're just awfully quiet, which is fine.
Oh, we have another Halloween in the back.
Ooh, Michael.
No, Michael's here. Hello, Michael.
I'm a poutine.
That's awesome. I will put your name down. So we have Tracy and Dave.
You know how I am about poutine, right?
Yeah, I figured this would make Tracy like this.
Yeah, but now he's gonna want to eat you.
I gotta say, man, I was in Canada a couple weeks ago, and the poutine taste, it was all right, but they overcooked the fries, and so that was a downside. And then there wasn't enough cheese on the next one I got. But hey, it's all learning, and poutine is worth it. Oh,
yeah. Depending on where you go, the poutine is not going to be the same. There's so many different type of gravy, different type of fries, different type of cheese, and some people will add peas, some people will add chicken, hamburger.
Yeah, they had chicken in the second one that I got.
It had chips.
Chicken.
Oh, chicken. Okay.
Yeah. But it was still the same beef gravy.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd Dave go?
Yeah, I guess he wanted to show his costume, and he's done. That's fine. That's all you need to do. His name is in for a draw. So I was saying, this year I felt comfortable preserving my food, and I invested a lot of time and money into adding a lot more fruit trees. I have a few more pear trees, cherry trees, cumries or honey berries, strawberries, raspberries. Too much echo. Okay, well, it seemed fine. It might just be the little Halloween creepy noises I have in the background. I also added some plum trees. What else? Elderberries, hazelnuts. I have a bunch of different fruit trees and nut trees, I guess. I was able to learn a lot more in terms of foraging, and I will be taking another class, a one-on-one class about foraging, herbalist, all that kind of stuff. And this is knowledge that I'm hoping at some point that I can give back to you guys. Next summer, or next spring, I should say, my goal is to build myself an orchard. I was told that those little black balls that you can put around the branches, where you trim. I have a blank. The bark. You remove the bark. You put a little ball full of soil on top of the branch. In the spring, apparently, when the tree wakes up and comes out of dormancy, it's supposed to grow roots. And if I can manage to do that, I'll be able to go out wherever we have wild apple trees, the best ones, and I'll be able to plant them here. So this is my goal for next spring, next summer, to have a nice orchard. Hello, Tiffany. Thank you so much for stopping by. Costumes are nice there for sure, but we here don't do Halloween. Yeah, it's okay. Not everybody does it, but I still appreciate having you here anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just trying to have a little fun tonight. That's all.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, a lot of Christians that don't celebrate Halloween. I don't really worry about it all that much because I'm not celebrating the demonic side of it. I'm giving candy to kids, and I always hand out gospel tracts and stuff. Or I'm backsliding, one or the other. You choose.
I remember when I was telling that to a colleague today. When we were kids, we used to leave from my parents' place, and a straight walk to my grandmother was about maybe, I'm gonna say, 3 kilometers. Um, so maybe like 2 miles. That'd be about it.
Yeah.
But when you stop at every house, um, for trick or treating, it takes a lot longer. So we'd leave at my parents, go to my grandmother's place, and then we would all the kids would go in the living room, just throw our stuff on the ground, on the floor, and whatever we liked, we'd put in our bags back, and whatever was left was the stuff that we would trade. And of course, I'm not a big fan of candies like the heart, like the little, you know, whichever ones are like chewy or stick to the teeth, um, lollipops and that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of those. I'm more like a chip and chocolate kind of guy. I love those rocket little candies though. Um, and we would go there, and those would be the ones I would try to grab. And then after we were done trading, it'd be time for like the older people, the teenagers, because I remember this from when I was younger. The teenagers would pass by, and we would be the one handing out the candies that my grandmother bought for them. And those were the days. Like I remember, those would be the best Halloweens. And now the kids, even my kids, they're at a point where they want to go out with their friends. They're having fun with their friends, and pretty much my girlfriend and I, and one kid, sometimes maybe two out of five. We used to do Halloween, but haven't for years. It's just a money grab, so we just choose not to. Fair, fair. It is like every holiday is basically a money grab. Um, you just do what you feel like you want to do. Um, I usually keep my costumes for a few years. Actually, this year it's the first year that I bought costumes for like the last 6, 7, 8 years maybe. And I will keep them. I will probably wear them again. So they don't make that much money out of me. The only thing is, I usually go on November 1st and buy everything on special.
That's planning ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get any
Also,
trick or treaters up here.
no.
No, which my neighbors, when I introduce myself to each of my neighbors for the first time, oh, you're that off grid guy. So I don't know. There might be some stigmatism or stigma
Yeah.
with that crazy old guy.
And the funny thing is, you won't buy anything because there's nobody going. But there's going to be that one little random kid that's going to show up and be like, "Oh, you don't have anything to give me? I'm not coming back."
Oh, I got candy.
Okay.
It's just for me.
You're listening while you shred chicken. Awesome. Someone was telling me today that back in the days, she used to have maybe like 20, 30 kids. And now there's no kids. Like, even like the big families, they'll go in small streets where there's a lot of houses close to each other. Um, those little sub area, I guess. And it's not as dangerous. People don't drive too fast. And you can walk not too far and have a lot of treats. So people will do those places. Here we have a little takeout restaurant, and just behind it, there's like a few. They used to be hotels, and they transform them into little tiny apartments. So people living there are, single people that are retired and either lost a husband or a wife, and they're just happy to have kids. So there's like 20 little tiny apartments, all very close to each other, where they give a bunch of candies to kids. And there's no cars driving there. They just park in front of the restaurant, and then we walk back there, go around, and we come back. Um, it's kind of fun for us with the kids because there's not as much danger, I guess. And but it kind of sucks for people who want to give treats on the main street because there's no kids. And she was telling me that, back in the day, she used to have 20, 30 kids. And now she's lucky if she gets 3. And she's like, she doesn't even bother buying candy. She's like, I have enough, like those Bear Paws molasses little cookies or, stuff like that. She'll give a pop or whatever. But it's every year I pass with the kids, and there's always like this 1 or 2 parents that will have like beer. They're like, oh, you're passing with the kids. You want a beer? Yes. Yes.
Because we want the chaperone to be intoxicated by the end of the night.
Well, you can drink a beer or 2.
Yeah.
Still
you can. You can. If I smell the bottle cap from a beer, I'd probably be 3 sheets to the wind. I haven't drank in so long. Yeah. The Catholic Church adopted All Hallows Eve, All Saints Eve from the pagans, the witches, the druids, because it's supposed to be when the ethereal plane between human life and spirit life is the thinnest and stuff like that. And the Catholic Church says, well, hey, we'll celebrate something so you feel comfortable. And here we are today, handing out candies. But and the handing out of candies came from you would leave food out on your porch so that as the demons patrolled your neighborhood, if you had food on your porch, they would leave you alone. In theory.
Story. Yeah. There's so many stories about how Halloween came to be. And honestly, my favorite thing about Halloween, other than seeing the kids having fun, is watching all those creepy horror movies on TV. There are some good movies. I don't know how people feel about scary movies, horror movies. There's a few ones that I saw recently, and they're not what they used to be. Let's put it this way.
No.
When Poltergeist came out, that was some scary stuff. Even what else? Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. That was one that I watched as a kid. I didn't want to go to sleep after, obviously. Chucky.
Yeah.
Those are pretty awesome movies.
The scarier ones for me are like the true stories. Like the Amityville Horror is based on a true story.
Yeah.
These people had some serious problems going on. But I tried to watch some of the old movies that terrified me when I was a kid, and they're just not the same anymore.
Nope, they're not. Can you still hear me if I wear this?
Yep.
I'm just going to put it on just for a little while until it gets too warm in here. Just because, I'm having a Halloween party here. It's not that bad, though. I have the holes here, and it's actually like when I'm breathing, it's like suctioning the air in, and it feels cool in my face.
Oh, cool.
Somehow. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Does it glow in the dark?
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, it's got an ominous look to it. But I don't think it's glowing itself, but it looks ominous back there.
Yeah. I think it's the computer screens that's actually.
Yeah.
I watched. I see this mask. I watched the last Scream. I feel like it was. Those movies are so predictable. Lately, that's what's wrong with those movies. It's like you know who the bad guy is right from the start.
Hey,
Hello, Melissa. So they have like the first Scream movie, which was kind of out there, like it was something when it came out. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is something new. This is something people have been looking for. The second one came out. It's like, okay, like yeah, they're talking about rules and stuff, and it's different. It's still somewhat different. Um, and then the third one came out. It was like, okay, a nice little closure to the trilogy of Scream. And then a few years later, they came out with the fourth one, where um, the little young cousin was jealous of Sidney Prescott, and she went on a killing spree. And hopefully, I'm not spoiling anything for anyone. I mean, that movie came out like 10 years ago. And then they did the fifth one, which was not really related to Sidney Prescott. It's a bunch of new characters. Um, and there's a sixth one that came out this year actually, and I watched it last week, and it was still somewhat predictable.
But yeah, they have a formula for scary movies and dramas and stuff like that. There's a formula they follow, and what it did is it made them predictable. Yes, like the first Scream was very successful because it was very scary, but it's like Halloween and those older, they were scary, but what made me want to watch them was I wasn't allowed to watch them when they came out because I wasn't old enough to watch a rated R movie. and it had what is her name on Halloween? She Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, I was in love with Jamie Lee Curtis, but I couldn't watch it because it was rated R and my parents were on the ball.
They were strict about that stuff.
Yeah.
And see, my parents, they never said that I was allowed or not to watch specific movies. Of course, I'm sure if I watched, adult movies, they probably wouldn't have been happy. But as in terms of scary movies and war movies or action movies, they didn't really bother because they knew I was smart enough to make the difference.
Yeah.
This is a movie; it's not real life. Even if it looks like it might be real, even like you said, there might be some true stories out there, but it doesn't mean that I have to go and do it.
Right.
And Alexa, our oldest, she's 19 today, and she's been watching scary movies since she was like maybe 4. That's what she likes, and she knows the difference. She was never really scared about that stuff. For her, it's all funny because you see like the bad guy, or not the bad guy, but the hero of the movie, or one of those kids that gets killed, and it's like, why is that person so dumb? Like, you don't do that.
Yeah, there was a commercial out on, I think it was I forget what the commercial was for. These people are like running from this killer, and they're like hiding behind the swinging chainsaws and axes, and what was it? Twister, where they're running from the tornado and they go into that one barn room, and they're like all these scythes and sickles and butcher knives hang, and he's like, who are these people?
Yeah, and it's like you watch a scary movie where they know the killer is actually a human. I'm not talking about the ones with ghosts and zombies and
Right.
stuff, but the one where they know it's a human. I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream. Sometimes they have the killer knocked out. He's gonna try to kill you again. Don't stop. You're 3 against 1. All he has is a knife. If you keep running, he's gonna get all of your 3, and you won't have a chance. Turn around and fight.
Yeah. What are the for self-defense? You need to prove that they had intent, opportunity, and what is it, ability or something like that. Dude, I'm sorry, but if the guy's chasing me with an axe, he's trying to kill me. If I knock him down, I'm cutting off his head or something. It's just
yeah, exactly. And it's funny you talk about that and about all the laws and stuff, because sometimes we watch those movies and we're like, well, at least I'm like, the movie's done and it feels like they're safe and their life is moving on. But in theory, they would have a lot of answers to give.
Oh, yeah.
They would get questioned like real bad. Like, especially in the Scream movie, oh, we're going to make people believe that you did all this and we're the only survivors.
Yeah.
But hey, Sidney Prescott, especially in the first movie, like, he had every reason to hurt all those people.
Yeah.
And because you have a few wounds, you think the police are gonna let you go? Like,
yeah, that one guy actually stabs himself in the leg. You cut too deep, man. What was that on the Scream movie?
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah,
You
went too deep, man. I'm waiting for that. It's got blood.
Feel a little woozy here.
Yeah.
I hope that's not trademarked or copyrighted. I hope that's not trademarked or copyrighted. The last live stream of someone else's I was on didn't go too well.
It happens. Luckily, it wasn't too hurtful. Well, you said you were going to make it up to her, and I believe you, and I'm going to try to give her a little help as well, a little push back up. I think one of the scariest movie I've ever watched was Darkness Falls.
Darkness with the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine in college, like he said, when he watched that movie, he didn't want to turn off the lights. He slept with the light on for like a year after.
I can understand my mom wanting to lure the Tooth Fairy into Trevor's room if the Tooth Fairy is like that. But why would she? I was the good kid. He was a creep. Why would she want the Tooth Fairy to come in my room if the Tooth Fairy's like that? Oh my goodness.
It's funny though, because there's always, like, they make horror movies about everything now. Yeah. They have ghosts, they have zombies, they have serial killers, they have Frankenstein, they have so many things.
One of the more recent ones I watched was Cocaine Bear. Believe it or not, based on a true story. This guy is flying in a plane and he throws his illicit substances out the door, and then as he's jumping out, he hits his head, so he's gone. But this bear gets into the illicit substance and goes on a killing rampage, and it's based on a true story. I'm like, no way, man.
Yeah, but sometimes they say it's based on a true story. It might have just been that the bear, ate the cocaine and was just like, ooh, like he was running like crazy, and they made a story about it. It doesn't mean that the bear actually went after anyone.
Right.
You have to be careful when they say based on a true story. Right. They took something that happened and they decided to go with their own story with it.
Yeah.
Because of what happened.
But it's funny because they're like, oh, look at that bear. He's so beautiful. And then the guy looks at it in the binoculars and the bear's like banging its head into a tree. But one of the worst movies that I actually enjoyed.
Bear Cocaine or Cocaine Bear or Bear
Cocaine Bear. Yeah.
Cocaine Bear. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna watch it. When someone tells me something's not good or something is good,
It's got Ray Liotta in it. It can't be all bad.
it's got what?
Ray Liotta. It was one of the last movies he made before he died.
Okay. We were talking about that the other day, and it's funny because I'm a big movie fan. If some people give bad critics to a movie, I will watch it just so I can enjoy looking at every tiny details. Why do people hate that movie? And I was talking to my cousin. I'm like, I think in my whole life, there's only one movie that I could not finish. And he's like, oh yeah, which one? I'm like, just take a guess and you'll know. He's like, I don't know, maybe like Vanilla Sky. I'm like, exactly. Vanilla
Never
Sky
seen
with
it.
Tom Cruise is probably the worst movie ever made.
Really? I
In
never
my
seen it. I'm
opinion,
gonna have,
yeah.
I'm gonna have
I
to watch it.
It didn't make sense. I didn't understand it. It was just boring. I watched some movies that were really cheap, done with very low budget, and it was actually they were trying to be scary, but they were actually funny because it was so low budget that it's like, okay, this is funny, and I still enjoyed laughing because it was funny.
Well, Mars Attacks is one of the best movies ever made for $10.
Exactly. Recently, we watched two. When you go like on those advertising websites or whatever. Like if I open a new tab, it goes on MSN.com or whatever, and then the more you search or the more you read stuff, it's going to show you that stuff because of all the algorithms. So whenever I see something about movies, I click on it because I want to see what they're talking about. It could be like the worst 10 movies by Tom Cruise or the worst 10 movies by Mel Gibson or the best 10 horror movies ever made or anything like that. And whenever I see something like those movies had good ideas, but they were made very cheaply or poorly, I'm like, okay, well, I have to go and watch those. So recently I watched what are you doing? Playing with your light?
I'm just playing with my light.
I had that little knife here in front of that mask, and it felt like something was moving back there for a little second there. So yeah, I
There is
watched.
something moving back there.
Yeah.
No. Oh, it's something hooked to your chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. I was seeing that moving. And why is that whole thing?
Yeah,
I'll be right
the
back.
mouth is moving. The mouth is moving. So yeah, the two movies I watched were Sand Sharks, which is literally Jaws, but instead the sharks evolved and they can actually go in the sand, a little bit like Tremors. So that was kind of cheesy, but it was kind of cool. I watched and I enjoyed. The other one was it's called Zombievers. It's about it's this truck is driving with a bunch of chemicals in the back, and they have an accident, and everything pours down in a beaver pond. So the beavers become like crazy zombies, but it's so cheap. It really looks like someone has a little Muppets on his hand and trying to be like, rah.
Yeah, I've seen that. Oh,
The story was kind of cool. Like when you think about it, we always see zombie movies being about humans, but it could be about any animal, really. Any animal could have a virus that could, go on a killing spree, according to the movies. Of course, I'm just talking about movies. But it was so cheesy. You could see the beavers like, bah! And I don't know.
Yeah, it was that was a hilarious movie. The girls in it are all, let's say, budding actresses, and so they're just getting their start in acting and stuff. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. I'll be right back just in case it's an emergency.
No problem. I'm trying to think. I told my daughter about I Know What You Did Last Summer. This was also a big classic back in my days. The first one was awesome. You know, there's a story about um, they're getting drunk and they go like on at a party or a road trip or whatever, and they hit a fisherman and they think he's dead and they threw him out in the water. And then turns out that this guy was not dead and he's coming back to go after them. And you know, if you didn't watch the movie, I'm not gonna give the whole story away. But then they make the second movie, pretty much about the same thing. You know, he's coming back with vengeance. You think he's dead after the first one, he's not. Sorry, and he's coming back for them after, and you know, you still the movie finishes and you pretty sure he's dead. The thing is, up to that point, it was almost like it could have been a true story, a little bit like Scream, you know. Um, they made a third movie, and the third movie is about a ghost. And I was reading the critics on it. I don't remember if I watched it. I probably did, but the critics were really bad about that movie because you know you start off with like a story that's actually possible and end up with a story with a ghost. So, um, you know, it's not the same story at all at the end. It's like you're changing world in a trilogy at some point.
That oh yes. Hold on, let me get that one.
Oh, you can take a screenshot if you want.
Well, I'm just gonna send it to my friend. That was my friend Matt, and he was saying he's like, "Are you up in your cabin having a Halloween party all alone?" I said, "No, I'm on a live stream with somebody else. Thank you."
Anyone else has a costume that want to come up here and show it? Um, I have two names down yet: Dave Knight and Tracy, and I'm gonna do a little draw at the end of my live stream, and whoever's the winner is gonna have a T-shirt. I'm gonna let you take care of the stream for a few seconds. I have a baby crying upstairs, and I have a bladder to empty, and I have to, you know, it's gonna take a few seconds.
Okay, public service announcement. Here we go. No. Oh goodness. So, what do y'all want to talk about? I don't have the full scope of things, so I don't know how many people are in here. Someone said earlier, let's see, they said they were going to be doing a trunk or treat. Yeah, Melissa said she's going to be doing a trunk or treat tomorrow. Our church actually does a trunk or treat in our parking lot, and we hand out candies and gospel tracks. Oh, come on. You can put on some flary makeup. I couldn't find my I used to have camouflage face paint because I have a white beard, and I would paint my beard because it stands out so bad when I was hunting. And I couldn't find the face paint, so I went ahead and I reached in the wood stove and grabbed a little piece of coal and did my face. Oh goodness. Now a lot of people would say I don't need a costume, that I'm in costume every day, which is partly true. Let's see. Hey guys, go ahead and hit this like for Remy. It really helps the algorithm. And push it out there. And then if there is anybody that wants to, you don't have to paint your face, put on some bunny ears. That's a costume. I don't know. I almost came as a YouTuber because you're supposed to be something you're not. I don't think I'm good enough to be a YouTuber yet. Oh,
I'm back. You are a YouTuber, Tracy. Stop saying that.
I'm not a tuba.
That face is scary.
That is. That is.
It's actually a mask. I think that was one of my oldest guys.
Dude, there's nobody wearing that? I thought it was one of your kids standing back there because I watched their eyes. The eyeballs were looking at you.
Awesome.
Dude.
Maybe I'll be haunted tonight. Maybe I won't sleep.
Right. My mom, when I was a kid, Port Leyden is a pretty small village, and I had a lot of friends, which is hard to believe looking back on it. But and she had this reel-to-reel recorder. And back then they didn't, well, we had cassettes too, I guess, but everything was pretty much vinyl or reel-to-reel. And she recorded this whole thing. I'm going to get you my pretties. And then she would name a couple of my friends and stuff. And my friend Richard Hardy, his mom pulled up and he got out of the car and he started walking up to the porch. And we live in a pretty woodsy area. And he started walking up to the porch and I'm going to get that little Richard Hardy. And it was just fate because she recorded that earlier in the day, but the timing was perfect. That boy dropped his bag of candy and ran back into the car, and his mom had to get out and get his candy, and he wouldn't get out of the car after that.
I can't blame him. I remember doing things like that too. Like I'd be disguised with this little guy back there, and you try to stay still and not move, sitting on a chair at the entrance of the house, and then you let them go in, plus you run after them when they get out. It's even more funny.
You set the bowl of candy on your lap, and then you're sitting there, and and then when they reach in for the candy, you go and grab their arm.
There's a few places that actually have like haunted house or like very, very nice decorations, and it's kind of nice. Miley's gone tonight. Well, they have a school dance, but before the school dance, they had a little general practice, I guess. That's what we would call it. There's like a haunted, not a haunted house, but a haunted trail tomorrow for Halloween.
Oh, those are fun.
And she's gonna be doing something in there. I don't know. I'm gonna try to film if I can. Sometimes they don't want people to take pictures, but if I promise them not to post anything before the last day, maybe they'll allow me.
Yeah.
Because a couple of years back, they had this haunted house at the mall. But they were strict on no pictures and no videos and all that stuff. And they actually have people working inside. But it was pretty cool because it's a labyrinth, kind of. Well, there's only one way you can go, but it goes like, cubicles here and there. And you turn around and they have people and they have decorations all over the place. And it's dark. You don't see a thing. They just have that little fluorescent tape on the floor. So you have to follow that, and then you're like, oh, there's something in my face. Like, I'm pretty sure sometimes they must be punched in the face.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Please leave any weapons outside the haunted house.
Yeah. You're walking, looking at the floor to see where you have to turn, and you turn around, and someone's right there. It's like, Oh, la, 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 la.
Uh-oh.
Tuesday. Halloween is on Tuesday. I'm gonna get dressed up for work as well. I'm probably gonna wear this suit every year on Halloween. I used to dress up, go in my boss's office, shut the lights, sit in her chair, and turn around like this, not move. And then they would come and turn a chair and open the light, and I'd be wearing my mask. Yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Trevor just texted me and he said that, yeah, my little pocket cam that I got here, he said it stinks.
Yeah, your last video, the quality was not that good.
Yeah, I use this little pocket camera here. It's supposed to be in 4K, but while I was hunting, I just put it in my pocket and walk. So yeah, I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. I still enjoy the video. That's why I said next time I left a comment. Next time, just try to take some nice videos of what you're looking at. You know, it's
Yeah.
fun to see because the forest that we have is somewhat similar, but sometimes there's a few differences.
Right. Well, yeah, your woods are so much more polite than ours.
Yeah, they hit you in the face, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, it's like you step on a branch in Canada, and the branch is like, "Oh, excuse me." You do it in the States, and it's like, "Get off my back, man."
Oh, can't wait to go deer hunting.
I love it.
2 weeks, and we're leaving. 2 more weeks of work. 10 days. 10 days, and I'm on vacation for another week.
My problem is I am really, really craving venison right now. And usually it used to be before the opening day of season, I would eat venison steak. It was as a kind of a tradition. And I don't have any venison steak to eat for that ritual. So I'm just hoping to stumble across one, you know.
And you can't go for those this year, right?
Oh yeah, I can get I have 2 doe permits.
Oh wow.
One for my wildlife management unit, and one for my daughter's wildlife management unit. And then I can get an antlered deer. And then they might have a second muzzle loading season. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up, but
Cool.
that's
good. Well, what that's I don't understand. Because you spent a few days in the woods, you didn't see a single deer, or is it that you just didn't have a shot on any of them?
no, the only deer I have seen so far this year was in a field on my way home. My headlights gave me some eye shine from a couple deer.
Okay, elk season started today in the Millicent's area. Camera picked up all the noises walking in the bush. Yeah,
well, that wasn't hard. It was like walking on potato chips.
And see, you're allowed to have a doe tag pretty easily, and yet we go deer hunting in some spaces, in some spots where there's no doe tag available at all for no one. Only the bucks, and we'll see 20, 30 does a day, and they'll come right next to you. They'll eat like literally. I was parked in the middle of the road, just enough, not in the ditch, but just enough so that a car could pass behind me. And the deer came out and crossed the road like 10 feet from me, and it was a doe. I had no doe tag.
Yeah,
so I could have shot that deer like 20 times, and yet no doe tags. And
it's like they know.
See a single one. Yeah, it's like they know. But this year we have 2 doe tags, And my brother is sticking to his idea of not shooting anything until the last 2 days, unless he sees something. He's like, when you see a big deer, you're not sure what it is, so you can't shoot. And then you go there and you realize that the tracks look like a buck. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I missed a buck. But he's like, if I see something that I'm not sure what it is and it looks big, I'm gonna take the shot because I'm allowed to have a doe.
Yeah. If it's not a fawn, if it is a fawn, a young deer, I'll try not to take it. But I've made that mistake before. I've shot some little deer in my life. Trevor would testify to that. But I've shot some good sized does too. You get them when they're real long in the face, and that's a pretty good giveaway that they're um, older. But yeah, if if I can get a good clean shot on it this year, brown is down unless it's a fawn.
Yeah, but fawn would be good meat though. Like I know it's not
They are.
fun. Um,
They are, but there's not a whole lot of it. It's like you
yeah,
can
you'll
get
get maybe 50 pounds.
you can get $50 worth of meat from a fawn or $150 of meat from a full grown deer.
I see someone else in the chat. I just want to show my costume.
I just took my blouse off. It was getting way too hot.
Yeah. Darren, if you come out with a costume, I'm putting your name down for a draw for a t-shirt. A special t-shirt that I will design for Halloween this year. Like something like the Rams Family Farm Halloween winner or something like that,
Nice.
We don't see deer on a regular basis here. In my area, we'll see moose. Moose is all over the place. Black bears as well. Once in a blue moon, we'll see a deer, but they're really not that many. I've seen one deer around here this year. I was actually leaving Sarah's place after I had done feeding the animals, and as soon as I got on the main road, there was a deer right in the middle of the road. It was just a small, tiny button buck. But most of the time it's moose, and we don't see a lot of black bears. But there's so many tracks, so many poops, so like there's so many signs.
I've
It's
been
just
seeing a
crazy.
lot of bear poop this year. Walking into the place I sit during muzzleloading season, I saw some fresh bear poop, and I was kind of hoping he'd come back. But my mom's got a doe and a fawn that come out on her lawn all the time. She's always saying, I heard shots out back. I think somebody shot my doe and my fawn. I'm like, Mom,
Could be
until after
shooting.
hunting season, you can't say that.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't have elks around here. Well, actually, we've had a couple of years back because someone was raising them and he lost them. Um, and they were all staying together and they moved like maybe like 15 minutes away, a 15-minute drive away. But we don't really have elks. We do have moose and bear. We have a few deers, like I said, but not that many. They're just coming in this part of the world. They're rare. Yeah, the deer, they used to be very abundant in my area. I don't know if it's, well, that oil company that I'm not going to name because I don't want to get flagged on YouTube or whatever, but they've been cutting a lot of woods and spraying chemicals. Glyphosate is what they're spraying, and we're the only place in the world pretty much that still have that legal. Um, we have a lot of coyotes. Um, so many different reasons why the deer can't really survive here. We have very, very harsh winters. You go just across the bridge on the Quebec side. They have the same weather as us, the same climate. Um, it's basically the same deer. The herds cross the river once in a while, and yet you go across the bridge and you can see them every day. You go 40 minutes drive and you can see them. But yet on this side, there's none. So there's a reason for that. And I can't point any fingers, but you know what I mean. Hello, Darren. And like I just said, if you have a costume, you want to come up, even if it's just for a second, just to show your costume. Dave and I came earlier. It was disguised as a poutine. And yeah, you can just come, show your costume, and leave if you want. And I'm putting your name down for a draw for a special T-shirt. Our area has been overhunted, not very well managed. Yeah, and it's weird because they keep saying that the male, the bull or the bucks, will mate with a bunch of does, cows, whatever. And you know, in New Brunswick, they have a draw for the does. Anyone can go hunt bucks if they want to. Like literally, there's 700,000 people in the province. They can just go and buy a deer tag, and they can go hunting. And yet, there's not that many deer, which is why it's buck only, I guess. You can go moose hunting. You get drawn every 7-8 years if you're lucky. But you can go for anything. You can go for a cow, or a bull. We have so much moose. I know a few people from the reserve here. First Nation, they have the rights to hunt as pretty much as many as they want. They're hunting for their community, but whatever. And they tell me that they see so many moose. They probably kill like 20 a year, each and every one of them. And yet we still have a lot of moose. You go on the Quebec side across the bridge, they can hunt deer, go for whatever they want. There's so many deer. Like, I mean, they don't know what to do with them. They can only go for bull moose, and they don't have that many. So all the places in the world that allow female hunting, does or cows, have plenty animals to go for. All the different parts of the world that go for males, bucks, bulls only, are struggling with the population.
Yeah, they here it used to be in Northern Tier, you couldn't shoot a doe. They didn't offer doe permits for up here, and what they do is they go through, they do a census, I guess you would say. They count the deer and the buck to doe ratio, and then they say, okay, we're gonna allow X amount of permits for this wildlife management unit and X amount of permits for this wildlife management unit. Because when you kill a doe, figure every adult doe is probably going to have 3 to 6 fawns in their lifetime. So
Yeah.
you're kind of killing 3 to 6. We started. There was moose in Copenhagen. There was moose. My nephew got a picture of a moose that he almost hit with his truck on up on East Road. And then there was one in the town of Western Park. And that's, I want to say, maybe a 50-mile radius, 60-mile radius that they've had these sightings in. And we used to only see like one moose, but I think these are 3 separate moose.
Moose.
Yeah, why is it moose? And moose for one and moose for plural, but it's goose for one and geese for plural.
I saw a funny video today, actually. They were talking about how when you say TOMB, it's tomb. Change the T for a C, it's calm. Changed, there was a bunch of letters like that.
Comb. COMB is comb, yeah.
Yeah.
Tomb. Comb. Yeah, the O is different.
Home is pronounced almost the same way, but it's HOME.
Yeah.
Poem. It's almost pronounced the same way, but it's BOEM.
Yeah.
And then it was saying like, no wonder people are struggling with the English language.
Well, think
But
about
it's
it.
the same thing in French.
One doesn't have any was in it. Two has a wawa in it, but it doesn't need it. You ever think about that?
Yeah.
It starts with a w. One starts with a w sound, so it should have a w in it, but it doesn't. Two doesn't sound like it has a w in it, but it does.
Yep.
It's like up by where Angie and Mike live, and Darren's parents have the cottage and stuff. Your roads were put out by drunk Frenchmen. Well, I think that our language was created by drunk Englishmen.
Just to come back on a subject, when you said, about the does, and like if you shoot a doe, you're actually killing like maybe 6 deer. Here they say that the reason they're allowing people to shoot the bucks is because the buck can actually mate with a bunch of different females.
Yes.
I guess it can go up to like 12 females in a season, which means if you kill a buck, you're actually eliminating 12 deers. Then again,
not really, because one of the smaller, younger deer will still can still mate those females. You know what I'm saying?
But the female that has fawns will still grow up and be either does or bucks.
Right.
But the thing is, I was reading somewhere. I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying what I was reading. It might be false information, but I was reading that the buck, the deer, we're talking about deer here, after he's done mating with the doe, he's so tired that he's actually laying down for almost a week before he goes off after another doe. Yeah. And the heat season for a doe is only about a week. So depending on the doe, it can be like maybe like a 2 weeks range.
Yeah.
So in theory, the buck will only go after he's done with the first doe. He'll need time to rest, and maybe he's going to get lucky and find another one to mate with. Right. Maybe he's going to go with after the same one.
Well, it depends on the size of the herd that buck is tending, because a buck can actually gather up 3 or 4 does to himself, and so while he's relaxing during that week, just like pretty much any man, if he sees that he wants it,
he's gonna get up and go for it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun this year. My son's coming for the first time. I'm gonna have one of my kids. I remember going with my grandfather, my dad, my brother. Now it's gonna be my dad, my brother, and my son. It's gonna be a totally different experience, and that's one of the reasons why I want to go and get the first doe. Like the first one I see is going down, even if it's just like a tiny doe, because first of all, we're going the last week. So there's probably a chance that 3 different groups of hunters have been on that land hunting those spots before us. So the deer is going to be scared. It's going to be anxious. If we see them, they might, run off quickly. But at the same time, it's going to end up being the mating time. So maybe if the doe is going slowly, the buck will be not too far behind. Yeah. But like I keep telling my brother, he's like, I want to take my time. I'm like, yeah, but if you take your time, you're not going to get anything. And I want to have my meat. I love deer meat.
How many tags do you have?
We have 2 doe tags, and like each and every one of us can get a buck. So we can go home with 4 deer.
Yeah. And it can't meet you can't you just can't put that. We call them the inner tenderloins. That is just, it's on the inside of the rib cage along the spine towards the back, and they are you just can't beat that frying, or even taking a couple medallions off the back straps while you're at camp. I want some venison.
Yeah, that's what the French people call the filet mignon.
Yes, I thought you had to wrap it with bacon to have filet mignon.
No, it's just tenderloin.
Ah,
I have some from the moose I got. I still have a piece or two. But the thing is, I cut it myself, so I didn't slice it up. It's not like a steak; it's more like a roast, kind of. So when I cook it, it's gonna still be very delicious. I'm hoping for deer to do the same thing.
Yeah, Wendy and I, we would take and we would cut the backstrap into portions so that we could, if we wanted thick steaks, if we felt like thick steaks when we ate it, we could cut them thick. We'd freeze it as one chunk, kind of like a little roast, and then we could cut it or prepare it any way we wanted it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Last year we hunted literally on Jack and Lindsay's property, and when we were done, I'm like, okay, you guys want to have like the liver and the heart? They're like, yeah. I don't remember if they took the liver, but they took the heart. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to split it in two, and I want to have like half the heart. I'm going to give you half of it because I'm hunting on your property. I can give you the liver, and I'll give you half the heart. And I'm just going to finish my story, and I have another Halloween out there. I don't know. He looks kind of scary. So, yeah, and I ended up leaving, forgetting the heart there. So, hopefully, they enjoyed it. Oh, we have a Viking. That counts.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Hope you're doing amazing tonight.
Awesome.
Nice.
How you doing, Darren?
Did my camera just freeze up?
Yep, but we can hear you still.
Yeah, and you look like a killer. Like
internet.
This.
Yeah. You kind of look a little
What's
psycho
that?
where you're frozen.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, dear. Hope you guys are doing amazing.
So are the kids are the kids too old to pass Halloween, or do you still have a few young ones that want to go?
Oh, we have no one that comes here. We're too far out. And then they used to go into town to their dads and then walk around town there. But I don't think they're doing it tonight. I don't know whether they're going to wait for Halloween or when.
Yeah. Yeah, I think depending on the area, sometimes they'll do it on Saturday or on Friday. Here, they usually do it on the 31st. I mean, even if it's on a Sunday, it's just going to get kids go to bed earlier. And it's easier to remember. It doesn't really matter if it's on the 31st, the 1st, or 30th, or the 29th. But if it's on the 31st, every year it's going to be on the same day, and find it easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Tuesday this year. We're doing the trunk or treat at church. Yeah.
Put that post already.
So how are you holding up with the butchering?
I am so sore. It's not even funny. I started up the hot tub today because I'm like, I really need to jump in. But it's not up to temperature yet. I think it's only at 70 degrees. I want it at 102. So we've got most of everything done. There's two big kind of bowls and like a soup pot filled with chunks of meat. So I've got to do those up as burger or ground anyway. So I got to do that. And then I've still got two big chunks of bacon in the fridge right now that I just finished smoking. So they've got to be partially frozen and then cut up tomorrow. And then I think that's it. We still got some skin down in the cold room. So we'll shave the rest of the fat off those. That's going to go into the crock pot because it's cooking right now, making a slurry. and then the skin will be cut up, dehydrated, and used as dog treats. So,
Lynn, I think earlier Lynn was asking about canning lard.
we don't can ours. We basically put it into mason jars and then throw it in the fridge. And then from there, we just use it for either soap or for cooking. So,
yeah, I remember we canned a bunch of it. I still have a bunch of it. It's still pure white, but Wendy used to use it in cooking, and well, Fat Man ain't got time for that, I guess.
yeah, I don't mind it in cooking. I like it. It's great. So you don't have to go buy oils or that sort of stuff. You've already got it good to go. So,
yeah,
especially with butter too, if you're doing omelets or eggs or anything like that, you can just pull one out of the fridge and you're good to go. So,
yeah. Yesterday I went with Trevor to cut up some wood for a friend, and then today Trevor went and helped a friend do concrete work. And when you're in shape, concrete work can be something. When you're out of shape. So Trevor, I guess he said he's hurting tonight.
Yeah, I need the massage like big time. And then tomorrow, we were planning on harvesting our cow, but I think we're going to wait till Sunday and do it then because it's supposed to be better weather. So a little cooler and less rain. So
yeah. So how did you learn about all the butchering? I'm curious.
There's 3 good videos I watched. Bearded Butchers does some great videos on how they do pigs and cow. There's another one that I want to say it's like Lehman's or something like that. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I don't know if I showed you guys that beef book, butchering book I have, the blue one, and it says how to butcher beef on it. I believe the guy works at that butchery or something, but they do an amazing video where it's like a class. So they're teaching other people, and the guy runs through the whole process of doing, I believe it was cow when he did it. And then there's another guy who does it. It looks like he's in kind of a sunroom or something, I think, but it's not a sunroom. It's like probably a cooled kitchen with a window at the back or something. So those ones. And then, like I said, that one that says how to butcher beef, that book is priceless. Awesome. The nice thing about that one is it's almost like a choose your own adventure book. So depending on the cuts you want or what you want to do, say you want to do tomahawks or you want to do New Yorks or you just want to do boneless steaks, you can flip to different pages and it will show you how to do those cuts. And if you're doing that cut, well, then it says, okay, well, here's another cut you're going to have to do if you're doing that cut. So it's nice.
Because when we did the pigs, we figured, we're going to be able to watch a few videos and learn how to do it and do it ourselves. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen, right? We'll just cut, and if we end up with a roast or a bunch of amber, we'll just go with it.
It's so true. I remember watching Bearded Butchers do the one, and the one thing they said is you cannot screw it up bad enough that it's not inedible. If you cut up a steak, you can use it for cubes. If you screw up your cubes, you can use it for ground. If you screw up your roast, make it into steaks. And it's just for your consumption. So if you're selling it commercially, it's a different matter. No one wants to see knife marks and hack marks and that in their steak. But when you're doing it for yourself, it's not a big deal.
But the problem that we ended up with is after spending the whole day skinning and cutting all the parts, when the piece of meat ended up in front of me, what I remember from the video was this tiny little pig where you could see pretty much all the cuts. And this was huge. This was a 800-pound pig. The back leg was bigger than a table. I'm like, okay, now where do I start? Like, I'm supposed to see a cut here somewhere, and I ended up, okay, well, this is going to be grind meat. Well, this is going to be grind meat as well. And I can make a roast with this little part here. I'm going to put that. You know what?
It's funny because the good thing is with a lot of it is you just have to really follow the seams.
Yeah.
Between a lot of the different muscle groups.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. As long as you follow the seams for the most part, you can't really screw it up that bad.
Yeah, it takes a long time if you're not used to doing it.
Yeah.
And the only part that would really bother me putting into burger meat or ground or whatever would be the bacon. That might bother me a little bit.
The nice thing is you can't screw up the bacon. It's it's pretty defined as to where you need to cut for the bacon.
Yeah, the bacon is the easiest part to make. Really.
For us, we take the blowtorch, like the flamethrower, to them. So we tried scalding the 1 year and that sort of stuff, and it didn't work as well as we thought it would. So we use one of those garden weeding torches. It's also, people use it for cutting the holes in the landscaping fabric. So we just use that, and we actually torch the pig. So we'll torch little sections at a time, torch the hair off. It will actually bubble the skin as well. And then you take a wire brush and you just start scrubbing, and it comes off the hair and the skin. So you get a nice clean pig after that. So you do that all over, and then you take the hose and a hard bristle brush on a stick or on a handle, and just scrub it and wash it, and it takes a few seconds.
Yeah, we remove the whole skin. I thought it was easy. I know there's a few things you can do with the skin, but after spending 9 hours on the pig, not getting up to anything, I'm like, okay, no, like, we're gonna call a butcher, we're gonna bring the pigs, and gonna pay a little bit more and go to bed.
We find it's easier to do the pig after it cools off. So after we've got a couple days in our cold room, then we'll take the skin off. And to do it in pieces too, instead of one great big skin, it makes it, again, easier that way for us as well.
I was listening at the radio this year, and the local butcher was actually being interviewed, and he was saying that, like everything else, he's struggling to find employees to help him out, and especially during the hunting season, because a lot of the people that would be interested in that stuff are actually going out hunting.
Yeah,
right.
And then he ends up with some young kids that are not really interested in that kind of stuff. So I told him when I went there to get my moose, I'm like, I can't promise you that I'm going to be there for the whole week, because I'm probably going to go hunting. But the following week, or even like the nights, because I'm working full time, if you want someone to help, even if it's just to pack the stuff, I'm willing to come. Like, I'm not going to charge you anything if you teach me. So he wrote my name down. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a call at some point.
Nice.
You didn't call me yet, but I mean, hey, you want to teach me? I can give you some time, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's worth a lot to me.
It's nice because there's so many things too where you're not, I wouldn't say you need the skill, but you do need dedication to be able to go through it. And especially if he has a saw and that sort of stuff, he can show you, okay, here's what I want you to do. Cut the leg off here. Or if you're doing chops or something like that, slice 2 inches. Bam. So it's.
Exactly.
Trevor and I were talking about that. I kept the smallest pig, and I kept a half of it, and then I sold the other half. And I got 90. Mine was 93 pounds. No, mine was 92 pounds. And I got some jerky burger, ground meat, or jerked patties or whatever. The bacon, naturally, sweet sausage, and stuff like that. And they just called me today. It's $153.80. And Trevor's like, well, man, I remember paying $180 something for my whole pig. And I'm like, well, it probably depends on what cuts you get, what you know, what smoking and stuff like that you get done. But and
Yeah,
prices are
I've heard some from others too that there's sometimes disposal fee. So if you don't want the bones or fat and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
then they'll charge extra for that as well. But piecing it up is perfect. Throwing it in a fridge, that's a great way to do it. I did it this year too. Last year we just kept the halves, and I threw the entire half down in the cold room. But I'm feeling older. I'm feeling tired, so we pieced them up and took them down in. Then the problem was we got the six pieces down there, and then I was like, oh no, we got like 8 more pieces or something like that, and I forgot that like we only have 8 hooks, so I had to go grab a steel shelf and wash that off and bring it down, and then we put all the bacon and basically not the ribs but the loins sitting on the shelf, so that worked out pretty good.
Cool. So tomorrow you're doing one of your beef?
Yeah, depending on the weather. We looked at the weather. It's supposed to rain, so I'm thinking probably we'll wait till Sunday. So it's supposed to not rain on Sunday and be cooler on Sunday. So we'll probably wait till then. And then I think Bridget's got the boys running around tomorrow with hockey and only 1 game on Sunday. So at least she'll be there to help me more for that, which you definitely need it for when you're doing the cow. So
yeah, because it's not only putting the animal down, it's having to put it up, skin it, and cut it. And
yeah,
you're lucky you have a cold room. I'm so jealous of your cold room. Like I wish I had one like that.
it makes a huge difference for this type of thing. Like if we didn't have it, there's no way we could be able to do what we do.
Yeah, you would just skin it and bring it to the butcher and have to pay the extra, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. But one thing I like though about the butchering part, especially when you're homesteading and you can find yourself a little community or find someone that does the same thing as you that can actually help. I have a friend of mine, his name is Remy as well. Him and his girlfriend, Marilyn, they're actually, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, Remy and Marilyn.
But it's not Marilyn, it's Marilyn. They do the same thing I do. They homestead and
I know, Tracy. I was like, it sounded the same to me. Like
Marilyn.
Oh, Len and Lynn.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
The thing is, they do their own chickens, they do their own turkeys. So we've been doing it for the past 2 years, and it's kind of nice because, at first he called me. He's like, "Hey, you think I could borrow and eat? Like, I would pay for your chicken plucker." I'm like, "I'm not gonna charge you anything, but I want to be there. I will let you have it, but I just want to be there. I want to make sure things go correctly, and I'm gonna be there to help you as well." Oh, he's like, "Cool. If you want to do that, we'll help you with yours." So it started off like that, and now, like, for the last 2 years, we've been helping each other out. So we do mine one weekend and his another weekend, either before or after. So it's kind of cool.
We've got a friend that comes. He takes the 3rd pig and he'll help us do ours. We'll throw it in the cold room, and then we'll do his. He takes it away, and then I do the 3rd one. So
yeah, it makes a huge difference.
It really does. Yeah. Oh no, that's horrible. That sucks.
Yeah, we took one butcher in the meantime.
Anyway, guys, I got to jump out. I got a couple more things I still need to work on. So we'll talk to you offline.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
I'll be checking in anyway. So
awesome. Yeah, it's not only about when you help each other out, you have someone that you can actually talk to during what you're doing.
Yeah.
So time goes by faster. And you can even learn while doing it because that other person can actually teach you some different techniques that that person has that you don't. And usually my friend's sister will come help out as well. So there's 4 of us. One of them goes, grabs the chicken and does like the slicing part. And then the other one will take the chicken, put it in the hot water and in the plucker, and then puts it on the table. So there's 2 of us, like, butchering, cutting, and all that stuff. And then after everything is done, everything is in the coolers. We'll have, we'll take a few minutes and put a few ones in shrink bags. We already have the water hot enough. We'll just put a little bit hotter, and it works out perfectly for us. And then you come home, you just weigh it out, put it in the fridge or freezer or whatever you want to do. I don't really have any space to put in the fridge, so I put it straight in the freezer. I know it's not the best way to do it, but the meat is still delicious.
Yeah. My when we did the chickens and stuff, my sister-in-law, they had a big 55-gallon barrel filled with ice water, and after they were done, because you would do the expiring and then the dip and the plucker, and then they actually do the getting rid of the cleaning the animal, and then they'd put it in the ice water, and that helped a lot. But yeah, sometimes you just get a bad butcher, or we had a butcher at one point do a bunch of chickens for us, and the meat we got back, it just, you couldn't eat it. It just tasted, I don't know if it was too warm when they butchered them or what, but it was just bad.
Yeah, it happens. When we heard that we had the pig, um, it was supposed to. I asked my friend, like, you want to go half on a pig? He's like, you know what? I already promised someone that I was going to take like half of his pig, so I'm good. I'm like, okay, right on, like no problem. I called my brother. I'm like, you want to have half a pig? He's like, yeah, for sure. Like I'll go for it. At the price, it was like very, very good deal. $400 for 1,700-pound pig.
Yeah.
Split in half, $200 each. You skin it. We ended up with at least, I'm gonna say about 350 pound of meat per pig, because we ended up with 720 pounds total out of two pigs. But after that, I told my brother that I was gonna go half with him. My friend calls me back. He's like, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna go with you because I'm not sure if I'm still getting the half of the pig I was promised." So I'm like, okay, like, am I gonna end up with, because that's the way I am. I'm gonna end up with no pigs, because I kind of promised you both that I was gonna give you half. So if someone ends up with nothing, it's gonna be me. So I call my friend, my contact that was giving me a very good deal. I'm like, "Do you have a second pig?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "I'm taking it." So I call my mom. I'm like, "You want to go half on a pig? You'll have pork meat for, like, it's gonna cost you about $300 for maybe like 220, 240 pound of meat." And she said no, precisely because of what you guys just said. She said last time she bought, I think it was beef, they couldn't eat it. The taste was awful. Well, we're lucky that the pig, like the pork, is delicious. Let me just share my screen. I'm gonna give you people maybe another 4 minutes if you want to jump on with your costume just to be in the draw. Right now, I have Tracy, Dave, and Darren, and I'm gonna be working on a design, especially for tonight, just because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. You guys participated. You helped me out. It's giving good content. We talked about horror movies. We talked about Halloween. We talked about the hunting season that's about to happen. Um, it's all good. Um, so I'm gonna give until 9:40 my time, 8:40 your time. If you just want to come out a few seconds, show your costume. You don't even have to say anything. Just say peace out and get out. You're entered in the draw. It's been a long week. Well, it's been the kind of week that it's been going by too fast. My cat had a surgery on Tuesday. He's got his balls removed.
Ooh.
Yeah. He came home. He almost looked dead.
Well,
You've probably been through the same thing with your cats.
with my cats, they were already taken care of when we got them, but I thought you were saying you probably been through the same thing when you got married. But yeah.
So
PJ.
Marilyn's costume is a PJ and a tired look.
Well, bring it up.
Bring it up.
Come on.
Yeah, I brought the cat home, and he was trying to get up because it looks like he was looking for attention. He was looking for us. He wanted to cuddle and to sit next to one of us.
Because that's all you can do now.
Yeah, and Marilyn doesn't want to come up. And he was getting up, trying to come and see us in the living room, but he was so dizzy and so on such a big buzz that he kept falling and he was hitting his head on the floor all the time. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna bring him with us in the living room. I'll put him on me just so I can, cuddle him a little bit because he's gonna hurt himself,
Oh, yeah. I think one of my cats might have worms. So in their canned food, I give them a heaping teaspoon of canned cat food, and I just sprinkle a little bit of diatomaceous earth on it, and hopefully that takes care of it. Because quite honestly, vets are for emergencies, aren't they?
Well, I got the surgery done. I get them vaccinated just because I want them to go outside and not get all kind of illness. And I'm looking for a hunter, right? That's why I got the cat. I want a hunter that goes after the rodents I have on my property because they're all over the place. They ate my tomatoes, my strawberries, my beets.
You used a word there. You might want to give that whole lawyer clause thing real quick. I don't want to see two streams.
To what?
You used the V word for your cats.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Annie and I were talking about was animals, and they give her. So you might want to give the lawyer clause. We are not a doctor. Consult your physician.
Yeah. I consulted a veterinarian.
Yeah.
And, they're animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will share my screen.
All right. Well, I'm going to step down. That'll give you more of the.
You don't have to.
Screen. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So as you can see, I have Darren, Tracy, and Dave. I will shuffle a few times, although it doesn't really change anything. So click to spin. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Darren!
Darren, you are the wiener.
You will have a t-shirt at your way. I will have to work on it. I'm still not sure about the design I'm going to make. I hear some weird noise. So I will remove that from... there's something wrong with my computer. I move my mouse like just an inch and it goes like... Stop screen. There you go. And put that back up. So congratulations, Darren. I will hopefully be working on that either tomorrow morning or Sunday morning on a design. I have a t-shirt to send away. So my 4K giveaway. Tracy's T-shirt was won by Claudia. We'll talk to her later this weekend at some point because it's time that she gets. She makes a decision on what she wants. Maria Elena already took care of the $25 gift card that Dave Knight won, which is pretty cool. Buttercup and Fern, Karen won a sticker from Annie. I still didn't hear from her. I love the land every day. Cindy Squirrel's sister won a sticker from Hanny, and she also won one from me. So we'll have to get that done as well. My daughter Miley won a hoodie from me, and Cindy Squirrel Off Grid won a T-shirt. I have their information. I'm just going to have to share it with Annie for Love the Land Every Day sticker. And we'll have to get that done. And I will take care of Darren's T-shirt as well at the same time.
Nice.
Well, I will finish this up now. I want to thank you for stopping by. It's been nice to have you here with me. Easier to talk to someone than talk to myself.
It's been fun. How often do I get to do my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression from Commando?
Yeah. This Halloween costume is not very thick, but it's very hot regardless.
Yeah.
It doesn't breathe very, very well. I want to thank everyone for stopping by. Hope you have a nice and safe weekend. If you have young kids, be careful. Of course, Halloween is on Tuesday. Usually around here in my village, at least, we have the firefighters driving up and down the road just to slow down the traffic. They have their lights on. The kids love to see that anyway.
Yeah.
And I find it very nice for them to do that. So eat a lot of candies, not too much. Don't get sick. Don't die from a heart attack. Don't get diabetes. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a nice weekend. Take care.
Bye, y'all.